Hi, I'm so excited to share my 5 favorite tips on how to lose weight that have nothing to do with food over the course of the next few days with you. If you are somebody who is dieting to try to lose weight, or you're always trying some new fad diet, but you always end up back where you started or worse, and if you're somebody who tends to sacrifice your self-care and wants to prioritize your well-being, then I'm so excited because these 5 tips are going to help you so much. And today we're going to learn tip number 1, which is to stop dieting. Now, I know what you're thinking when you hear that. Stop dieting, but Monica, how am I going to lose weight if I don't go on a diet? Well, listen. Dieting happens to be one of the biggest triggers for disordered eating behaviors. So tell me if this sounds like you, or if you've ever done this before. You commit to trying some fad diet or a restricted dietary program, and you pick the day that you're going to do that. Let's just say it's Monday. So you tell yourself, on Monday, I'm going to do this restricted dietary program perfectly. And since I'm starting it on Monday, until then, I'm going to eat whatever it is that I want. And so you do that. You eat whatever you want until Monday. And then Monday comes and you start the restricted dietary program. And maybe you do it perfectly for a few days or a few weeks, or even it's several months. But eventually you fall off of your dietary program, and when you fall off hard. And you eat whatever you want and whenever you want because you're now off of the diet. But on Monday, you're going to try it again, and you're going to do it perfectly this time. This is a perfect example of very disordered eating behavior. And some people get on this trend for years and even a lifetime, and they vacillate back and forth. And the worst part about it is not only do you tend to gain back the weight, but you also feel worse about yourself. You feel like you can't stick with a program, your self-esteem goes down, you feel guilty, and you blame it all on your willpower, but really it's just a faulty approach. So the big relief is that you get off of that dietary cycle. So what do you do instead of going on a diet? Well, you have to get really clear about what you want and what your vision of healthy is, and then you have to live in alignment with your vision. You have to become a deeper expression of your inner truth. You have to become the person that you know is inside of you. And so that is not going on a diet. That means you becoming who you really are. So said simply and put practically, you should never pick a dietary program or a lifestyle program that is not an expression of how you would actually want to live until the rest of your days. For example, if somebody told me that I had to eat like the typical weightlifter does, like 7 mini meals each day that were high in protein and low in carbohydrate, like chicken and vegetables 7 times a day with a gigantic whey shake, I would not be a very happy person. I would not feel very fulfilled. That would be in contradiction to what my body wants. I would feel repressed and restricted, and eventually I would probably go on some kind of a binge or something, or I'd feel full of cravings, but I certainly wouldn't feel good or feel happy. That wouldn't be an expression of my truth. Now, there are many different expressions of dietary truth. For example, some people believe that being on a plant-based diet and eating lots of microgreens every day is in alignment with their health. And other people feel like they want to be able to eat pizza every couple of weeks with their friends. So defining what health means to you is really important. So the limitation with this is that you have to define what that is for you, and that requires some investigation and some inner listening. When my clients first come to me, they're often very confused about what it means to be eating healthfully. I had a client, her name is Carolyn. She was 100 pounds overweight when she first came to me, and I asked her the question, what does it mean to you to be healthy? And she really didn't know. She kept drawing from this system and what this person said and what this person said. And all the while she felt super repressed, and she didn't ever feel like she could stick with something. And she was very nervous when we first started to work with each other because she was afraid of failing, because she had failed so many times before, and she thought for sure that I was going to put her on this restricted diet and that it was going to be difficult and it would be my job to keep her, accountable to sticking with this diet. Now, she was very surprised when I didn't even pull out a diet. And what we did instead in our first 3 weeks of working with each other was meditation and gratitude practices, was her paying attention to her cravings. Was her listening to her inner being, paying attention to when she was full, paying attention to when she was hungry, paying attention to what she was doing right and what she was doing well. As many dieters have been broken down in a sense, their self-esteem has been broken down and they tend to focus on what they're doing wrong. And when you do that, when you believe that you don't have control, when your self-identity is somebody that fails at diets and that's what you believe about yourself, that is what you're going to create. So that shift in identity really requires personal transformation, and you go gently with yourself. It's not about going on and off a diet anymore. It's about you becoming the person that you know is inside of you. When you do not have a clear vision of your health, when you don't know what your health values are, you depend on external systems. You look for systems to subscribe to and somebody tell you what to eat. And if that is not in alignment with how you want to actually live your life, it will feel like repression and restriction, and it will make you feel confused. When you tap into yourself and your inner knower, when you're clear about the healthy person that you want to actually be, it's not about going on or off a diet anymore. It's about becoming a healthy person. It's a very, very different approach. Thank you so much. I look forward to sharing tip number 2 with you, where I'll be teaching a very specific practice that will help you to identify what your core health values are.